All right, welcome back to another CCA match brought to you by the University of Houston and Splatoon at UH. We're bringing you a Div 2 matchup. My name is Nasu11910. I'm joined today by Dude on the mic, and today we're going to be showing you Crab and Go versus Creamed Corn. Dude, how you feeling today on this Saturday evening?
Feeling good. I'm feeling good. Excited to watch some good matches from this Div 2, these two Div 2 teams. Honestly, it's anyone's games. If we look at the records, both teams of 2 wins. It's going to be a good match today.
Indubitably. We're currently in our fifth week, which is essentially just everybody getting their final matches in. And yeah, as you're saying, both of these teams are coming in with records of 2 wins, putting them in contention for that critical second place in their group. That second place will send them to the playoffs, which are coming in soon. But yeah, it really kind of puts a lot of weight on this match. We're looking at Crab and Go coming in with a 2-2 record. As we can see the rosters there on the left, while Creamed Corn has a 2-1 record. They do have to redo, or not redo, they just have to play a rescheduled match. But either way, the winner from this team essentially gets to bump the opposing team further down the leaderboard and put themselves in a better matchup going towards our playoffs coming up in the following weeks. But this fight will be starting on Splat Zone's Haggle. How do we feel about that being our first map going in, dude?
I mean, Spots on Taggle is it's kind of I mean, Haggle generally, I'd say, is a little more balanced. We can see like the two flanks are always a way for our short range guys to get in, and the high ground, especially we're seeing with this charger and the explosion, can be powerful points for our anchors as well. So we'll see how both teams use the different opportunities in this map to make a good game happen.
Definitely. Both teams coming in. Cream Corn running kind of slightly longer range, kind of with the added dynamo. We only see the charger coming in from Ico there when Ico's team is able to find two, getting traded out a bit by Nito over here that does see that bucket in a little bit too deep. And possession finally goes back over the way of Cream Corn. A lot of just kind of trading at the start, but see, this is going to be good. Both teams, oh, a nice quick scope on the right there to be able to get the kill. But yeah, both teams are going to be able to feel each other out as Ico having one, finding kills left and right, being able to balance things out with a crab that will hopefully stabilize the match a little bit. And what were you excited to see here in the compositions, dude?
To be frank, I'm excited to see Ico get some crazy kills on Charger. I myself have been the victim of quite a few flicks, so I know myself that thing is the real deal. But like this match as well, I'm curious to see Explosher. I don't see that very often myself, so I'm curious to see how Cream Corn uses this unique weapon to make some interesting plays.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk about the teams and the strategies and just kind of the weapon choice here, but there's just so much action going on. We can see trades going in and out. Lots of people dropping below that tent there, just trying to reclaim that space, which Crab and Go had been holding very, very well, as possession's finally going to go back over to Cream Corn just for a second to get those penalty points starting to roll. We see Drywall over here trying to take a sneaky little flank, so you can be caught on the side. That's going to be a Crab in a very vulnerable position. A few shots missed, probably going to want those back, and the Crab of Ico will survive for the time being, as we can see Creamed Corn being chased out a bit more, as penalty is going to eventually start getting chipped at a little bit more. But we can see Creamed Corn just refusing to stop, and they are getting these ults, which are starting to punish some of these forward movements. I just feel like Crab and Go hasn't been able to fully establish themselves, probably where they want to be under that tent or more towards that forward area, giving Creamed Corn these chances to come back and push those penalty points up, as they now get kind of a firmer place. But look at that. They can't stay in one place for too long. Ico finding 1-2 kills now with all those strikes coming in. That's going to be way too much pressure and possession going back.
Yeah, we've seen it here already. The Charger comes strong and takes quick picks, holds down the fort. Cream Corn is doing a good job of like pushing in with specials, but it seems that at the moment Crab and Go is kind of making a strong neutral game and holding the cream corn back. But cream corn's making again another special push with that crab here, making their forward push. They have a lot of paint also, I've noticed on this team, so they take up that space quick, and all of a sudden they're on the gas. Crab and Go is pushed very far back here.
Yeah, and you can see Cream Corn finally out of the penalty. They were in the penalty actually a little bit longer than Grab and Go, despite having the shorter penalty points there. But some crucial kills finally coming in, but it's still 1-to-1 trade. Choco looking underneath the tent. It's going to be one down there as Aiko trying to survive, almost finding the tap, not quite enough, and having to move back a little bit now as possession is finally traded back over. But look at that. It's now Creamed Corn with the lead, looking at only 14 points left. There's still a minute left, so anything can happen. This is probably going to be a knockout win for one of the two teams. Those strikes are crucial. Luckily, S did not die there to be able to put those down, and possession's going to go back. That's a 59-point penalty now that Creamed Corn is going to have to find. We can see there, H ships maybe looking to the flank, but it does seem like Crab and Go is conscious of these efforts, not going to allow it to happen. No, Ronan is going to be taken out quickly before that shark can make it all the way in. The inflatable gets popped as the team is going to have to move back of Crab and Go and giving up this possession. They have 50 points worth to play with here, but maybe not time on the board as we're getting down to 35 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Cream Corn is doing a spectacular job of just making every special count. We see every time that crab goes out, every time they push in with those splashes, they're coming through and they're kind of shutting things down. The chumps especially have done a very good job of just confirming that zone flip. As we see now, it's just a crab painting versus chumps painting, and I mean chumps are doing work and they're doing cream corn is putting in good work to cap zone, but Crab and Go comes
that
for a strong push.
That was also almost not a cap there, as we see that we are in overtime, but it's not quite enough. The bodies weren't there. Cream Corn just able to find those kills a little bit late, so we did go into overtime there, but ultimately Cream Corn taking it. Wow, really back and forth to start. This is going to be a very interesting kind of transition going into the rest of the maps, as both teams now have a very, very good baseline to start with to just get a feel for each other. I mean, we saw a lot of great stuff. We saw Nito being able to kind of force a lot of attention on certain flanks when wanted. We saw very good usage of those chumps, as you were explaining, dude, forcing responses, whether that be ults to come out from Crab and Go specials, or whether it just be a lot of attention on the painting, allowing a pick to come in for Creamed Corn. So Creamed Corn being able to have the comeback win there, but that's only one. You need to get 4 to win the set, as Crab and Go is going to have another go at it here during this next map. What'd you find most interesting there in terms of kind of how the teams were choosing to fight? It was really chaotic, so kind of hard to analyze it, but what stood out to you, dude?
I found it very, very interesting. They had Cream Corn had interesting like combos where they pull out like a crab plus chump or a chump plus splashdown, and all of a sudden the zone, like everything was purple. And so I feel like those big like sudden bursts with their specials kind of allowed to make like really, really aggressive rebounds when they were trying to retake that zone.
Yeah, and we saw Ronan there using the reef slider. It wasn't able to get maybe the intended effect as much as they would have wanted there. The whole point of having the reef slider in this composition here is to be able to get that quick zone flip, which we were able to see a bit at times. It's not the easiest per se to do on this map, but just because you have the bigger pillar in the middle compared to maybe some other maps that we have in the rotation. But just, I found it a little bit interesting there that maybe it didn't get as much value as Crab and Go would have wanted. Ronan will be in for the whole game, for the whole of the match today, as Alley Cat is currently out for Crab and Go, but we will be moving more towards clams here. So both of these teams have shown they can be extremely lethal. They showed a lot of capacity to trade there. So I personally feel like Cream Corn maybe looking at this map mode being a little bit more favorable as they were able to have a little bit of a better time on site sometimes, just not able to move forward. But we saw when Grab and Go was moving forward, they did at times have difficulties. But what do you think of this double roller coming in for the side of Cream? How do you feel about that one? And no long range really for Crab.
Yeah, double roller is, I mean, roller is pretty strong on this map. Looking at that plat and on the spinner, I mean, we're already seeing that in effect. It comes in with the amount of places you can hide on this map mode. It comes in, it gets sneaky kills, and bubble especially can make very strong plays with getting secure pushes on the basket, along with the chumps from the Dynamo. I can see the vision behind the double roller.
Yeah, and I love this. Look at those really early chumps that came in already. I think we might even see a second set of chumps coming in already. So really kind of smart on the Dynamo side there for Creamed Corn, just knowing that they can get that value through that and just kind of standing over there on the ledge. Ronan just kind of trying to keep some space. Painted does get a bubble up as well as that will be needed here. Look at that up top. We have both of the rollers almost with a football. That's going to be really big 40 points to open up with if that's what Cream Corn strategy is going to be. We see one comes in already. Instead, it's going to be the second roller, just putting in individual clams. It's a bloodbath with Grab and Go narrowly able to get a little bit of a kill advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very strong offense, but Crab and Go honestly responded pretty effectively. Those strikes kind of halted the
Oh,
momentum of
big
that.
double on the jump.
Wow. Yeah, that was the roller as we well, ink that matters too, but the roller aggressive as always. To my previous point, they responded well, making sure that they didn't get overwhelmed, placing very well placed tri strikes, and well, now Cream Corn is setting up for actually another offensive here. We can see.
Yeah, H Chips wants it back, kind of unsatisfied that they weren't able to get the dry smack, as that's going to be a wet one right there. Able to put that big bubble up as well. It's not going to last too long, but does give a little bit of space for the rest of the team to now navigate their way in. It's going to be a nice splash down from the side of the X Splosh and a bunch more of those little clams coming in. As you can see, 44 on the top of the screen, now 41, and that basket's still quite a bit open. If anyone can maybe, pop a few more clams there, that's going to stay open for a lot more time, meaning that Crab and Go is going to have to fight a further uphill battle as, a little bit of the backsplash there is able to get a kill. And just this is so much time being wasted here for Crab and Go. They now have to get all these clams, which we can see on top of the screen, they have none of. And on top of that, having to fight for all of this mid space, they're not able to get in there quickly and instead are still dropping bodies.
Yeah, I mean, I think the aggression here from these double rollers has made it very difficult for Crab and Go to find like a solid footing everywhere you step, and you got to make sure that a roller doesn't pop out and smack you in the face. And then I mean, we can see as well these very aggressive specials, splashdown coming out, chumps coming out. Although we've also popped our defensive specials here with the bubble and the strikes, but at this point it's just all out mayhem. Every special's coming out as like both teams here are fighting to take control of mid.
Yes, Crab and Go has a slight advantage in terms of the timing of their kills, but currently the game plan just hasn't been going for them. We can see that we have a lot of staggered neutral kills here, where trades more so. Crab and Go is able to get those trades, but afterwards you just have a long period of nothing. So there's no big group up for Crab and Go. There's no kind of periods where they can just make big pushes in. Instead, it's just a lot of trading and waiting. And now we're down to a minute left on the clock. You can see the clam economy isn't really going anywhere for either of these teams. Instead, it's going to be reduced as a kill on the left there is going to be traded out again for both teams, neutralizing the fight. And Crab and Go really needs to get something going here like 2 years ago, because now we can see there's going to be some rain coming in, but no forward momentum for this team. That is a good kill, though, on the left. Eliminating that roller early, making sure that there's no chance of a disturbance there, as now there is a power clam on the field.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that. Oh, well, that was a very effective bomb there. But both teams, sorry, Crab and Go is pushing here for on offense, but they don't really have many specials to work with, and now things are beginning to fizzle out as Cream Corn is kind of just taking their picks. You know, like the pressure is kind of on Crab and Go.
No.
Cream Corn can play defense here, as they've kind of just painted through neutral. It's tough for
Yeah,
Crab and Go.
I mean, Power Clam had to jump all the way back, and we can see there will be an overtime here as those clams are still there. That's really smart of Cream Corn trying to go and kill that Power Clam user, see if they can avoid the overtime, but it's going to be not, as we see the final desperation push. There is an identification of a player back there trying to kind of scope him out, but overtime timer is now at half. We see there is LSP trying to get in, but no, the big clam is going to be taken out, and it's not going to be enough. But just a very uphill battle there for Crab and Go as Creamed Corn able to just play the time, able to play the kills the way they want to, just absolutely having their grasp on the match there.
Yeah, those rollers were oppressive. Like you deal with one, and all of a sudden there's another one just ready for you. Yeah, they had good tempos with their specials as well. It made it very difficult for Crab and Go to get a solid like defined push going. And you know they started off that game strong, getting that very that high point lead. And they kind of just sat there and like played it out and made it so that it was extremely difficult for Crab and Go to push in on that map there.
Yeah, and I think it played a lot into their composition, right? Like on paper, you see double roller, you think it might not be the greatest thing in the world, but the important distinction there is what types of rollers they had. They had the Dynamo just chilling in the back, able to just stay in one spot, not demanding paint from the rest of the team, just able to get those chumps to disturb and able to just kind of be a wall there, a wall of paint that Crab and Go just couldn't get through. And what that means is that they're stuck in one place, allowing just the vanilla roller to come in through the side, be a nuisance, be a presence, or just find avenues straight forward and get those picks, right? And as we discussed before, getting those picks were just leading to trades, which again is not what Crab and Go wants in that scenario, but absolutely what Cream Corn needs to just stall out the game. And we saw that was extremely effective. Crab and Go going quietly into that game and instead moving now towards Tower. So looking at Tower now, I would say this is kind of like the definitive point. Crab and Go needs to put something on the board or at least make it really close, kind of like what we saw on those zones. I feel like if you're going into a Rainmaker match without momentum, that's going to be really concerning. I don't know how you feel about that, dude. Just like in terms of whenever you're playing games, whenever you're loading up into ranked or whatever, how do you feel that momentum sway go between your games?
No, I understand. I mean, obviously here is not the definitive win it or lose it match, but it can feel like it. You know, you're down two. It's far from the end of the set, but that also means you've got a lot more to climb through. But with anything, you can swing back, you can adapt, and we're gonna see if Crab and Go can turn this pendulum the other way and make a return here, or will Cream Corn just continue their domination? I mean, we're seeing back to Charger from Crab and Go, but also the introduction of a E-liter from Cream Corn, which is definitely different from the double roller they played to last game. So like, what do you think these changes from these two teams are going to provide for this match?
I think it's interesting. This is traditionally a roller map, but instead all rollers are not here, as we see that just the teams are going to instead opt to actually go for kind of some of these longer range ideas. We see that we have snipers on both sides being effective so far and just spacing out for the side of Crab and Go. And they've already captured the first checkpoint, making it to the second one, which is going to be really nice to just kind of establish that presence. Eventually going to be taken out, and those specials are going to help that to happen. But making it all the way to second and actually breaking through that second checkpoint is extremely good. That's a checkpoint that sometimes you will not even see throughout the whole match, that might not even be a point of contention. But Drywall over here, very happy to chill out just behind this little barrier, trying to escape from the sniper of Aiko. Those ults are going to go down in the middle. It's just kind of having... It's like seeing the reverse of what we saw in the previous map. Now it's having to be Creamed Corn fighting for that middle and losing so much time in it. And additionally, just allowing for these picks from Aiko, who's looking like an MVP right now with the snipes. who's really kind of beating out the E leader, who goes down again for the side of Cream Corn. And now S has this beautiful straight inside. You can see there is a lot of presence behind. Ronan's going to have to find a pick. Not going to happen yet, as Aiko just relentlessly running around. Nito doesn't want them to stay there. And yeah, it's having to be a lot of backwards movement, if that even is a word. As Choco able to find two, keeping the presence in, and there was someone on the tower the whole time. We didn't even see him because all the action was in the middle. Great statement from Crab and Go, abusing the fact that Cream Corn was just trying to come in from behind.
That was just to be frank, that was a beatdown. Like Crab and Go just put the gas all the way up. They went straight through that game. I was in awe. We were just going through, like, talking about, what are these comps gonna do? And as we were going through that, they were halfway through the enemy team's base. That was just such an explosive push through from Crab and Go there. They shifted their gears. They were like, all right, we gotta lock in. This is the match, and stuff like this. This is how momentum shifts. This is how Crab and Go can get their foot in the door and say, we're not done. We're far from it. And as I mentioned before, like, the set is far from over. There's time for Crab and Go to come back, and I'm excited to see how the rest of this set comes out. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, there's definitely time for Crab and Go to come back now, but I think crucial mistake there from Cream Corn, not identifying when their window was kind of closed. Yes, they had success there going through mid back towards their spawn whenever the tower is more towards that second checkpoint, but then you have to know when your window closes for that, and they weren't able to kind of see that once second checkpoint was essentially broken through, still attempting that, and that just gave Chocoloco, who initially was on the back foot there trying to escape, 2 free kills, absolutely annihilating any chance at getting to that tower that was essentially there, finishing out the round. So very definitive, very good from Crab and Go. This is going to take us into Rainmaker. So as we just said, right, having that momentum here could be crucial, and having kind of that forward motion. There's no kind of tower to support it, right? A little bit less static in terms of that movement. But we're going to see if maybe having that weaponization will help. We're definitely going to see some longer range here, right? You have those nice big towers on the edges of this map, which are going to allow for that. I wonder, do you think rollers are going to come back here? Because I would have thought that they would have stayed for our previous map for Mako.
Honestly, I think from Cream Corn here, I would say that they might see, we last match, or sorry, the 2 matches before, we had roller. It played well and it dominated. We swap off, and that happens. And now we've got a great opportunity to bring that roller back. I would be surprised if they didn't bring it here. And like on a map like this, roller can still find plenty of places to to disturb and destroy. I think it'll be powerful here.
Yeah, as we're loading in now, we're going to see these comps return to the double roller, as the comp for Crab and Go is going to stay very similar to what we have been seeing so far. We also see, very interestingly here, we see a Luna and an X-Splosh. I'm very concerned about the paint, me personally, but we're going to see as the match has begun now. Initial pop has happened. I believe that was for Crab and Go. As we can see already on the sides, a lot of Crab and Go presence, and Nito is just kind of stuck here. And I think the signs of paint are already showing. There's kind of a struggle to get this just presence on the map that Crab and Go is very much so able to kind of make a notice of. We can see LPS is just freely kind of making this space over here on the right, not having an easy contest for the side of Cream Corn, because again, there's not too much paint to work with, but it seems like they're not going to care about what I'm saying, because they go ahead and get a 3K. S trying to put these strikes down, maybe get a kill, not quite, is going to be a delayed wipe there. And that's going to be first checkpoint. Okay, so Crab has to play smart here. How are they going to play that paint advantage, which they have currently? That's being just written out by all of this push that just came in, and that first checkpoint going to the side of Cream Corn.
Yeah, Cream Corn has made a very strong offensive start here. If Crab can stabilize this, they can bring this back. But as of now, it kind of seems like Cream Corn is just trying to run through and take the points as they can. And I mean, they seemed well. Nito's still okay. It's the push is dead. I see, but as for a first push, 51 is a wonderful start for a first push. Oh, Roller coming in and
Ooh,
wreaking some havoc there. But
absolutely.
Crab and Go is coming back, repainting. They're coming back for a retake here, and we can see they're taking the right check to. I mean, it's on this map. It's a little preferred, I'd say, to try and clear out that right side completely. And I mean, as I say that, they kind of just did that. They took a pause there,
And
used
look
their
at that,
specials,
three
and now
kills,
they're
three
through.
kills.
Yeah, they've now we can see the pendulum has shifted, and now our people are in our power positions. Aiko setting up the charger for the pressure, but the rollers getting up to no good, which is quickly shut down by S. Now the ball is in Crab and Go's court as they gear up for another push. Ooh, I particularly
Oh,
evil stamp. Oh my goodness, what an ultra stamp coming out from Creamed Corn there.
and 1 point off the lead right there. We see going to 52 as H Chip's able to find those kills finally. Because, yeah, there was a lot of kind of attempts there to move things out. Aiko's not going to stay for long, able to escape somehow. How is Aiko still alive? But we can see that Cream Core is really struggling to just get a definitive wipe there. Aiko finally taken down as Nito is able to get in further. Really hard time dealing with this Luna who's just being able to just get a lot of these early forward pushes. Drywall going to extend that lead over to 46 now. This is looking tenuous as a minute 30 left on the clock. Look at all that progress right there. And struggling to take down the carrier as finally that's going to be a late wipe. But we do see that Vanilla Roller is still somewhere lurking around. But wow, a devious push there off of that stamp.
Yeah, I mean, we were a little like taken aback by the Luna at first, but we can see its place in this match here. It is here to wreak havoc. It pushed up with that first push, it pushed up with Stamp to give them a strong offensive lead, and then it shut down Crab and Go's push with that evil Stamp throw. And now they're actually getting pushed back quite a bit by Crab and Go. As Crab and Go makes a run for it, they're pushed up quite far. They're unfortunately stopped rather quickly, but I mean they're in the base. They got 30 seconds. This is their time to make it happen. But the
Well,
reset
see,
brings it
that
all the way
reset
back.
isn't horrible. That reset isn't horrible because Crab and Go is moving towards that middle. So it's actually going to be kind of a good regroup zone, right? If they can grab whenever they want, right? Like at a good time for them, they can get that overtime timer. And they're going to pick it up right here at 12 seconds as Ronan having to move in, making that early space alongside S. They're both looking around. Left side is kind of their primary targets right now. That's going to be a trade between the Dynamo and the T-Tech as another goes down for the side of Creamed Corn. We now have an advantage for the side of Crab and Go. They're finding these kills, but Nito right here just waiting for it as that is going to be a stamp that does get taken down, so it's not going to be too much of a factor quite yet. S looking down the left, trying, and does find one, but those chumps are going to put so much pressure down right now. Able to be taken out a little bit. Overtimer is now a little bit under half. Aiko looking down the left, trying to find another kill, maybe with this rain vapor, but your friends are going down right next to you. Your enemies are coming in. There's no time left on the clock. You have to run it in. And unfortunately, the roller is going to be what seals that match as it goes. The total score goes 3-1 to the side of Creamed Corn.
Yeah, that was a very interesting match. The adaptation that we saw there from Cream Corn with the Luna actually ended up being, I think, probably the MVP play for them there. That stamp just that was a game-changing play with the good stamp throws, and I think actually that last push that we saw from Crab and Go, I'd be willing to bet in Aiko's head is like I can see that glowing Luna Blaster on the top of my screen. I know if I'm not careful, that's gonna pop out. So I have to be wary. And that also, going through your mind, that could have been what slowed down that push, that kept it in check and allowed Cream Corn to come in and close out that game strong.
Yeah, I think there was a vision on that last push, but I think it was just the penultimate push for Crab and Go. I think they tried to force that forward push right at the end a little bit too soon. They got stuck there on kind of the left ledge um, at the end of that, and then the Rainmaker got reset. But I think if maybe they had waited for a better chance there, that might have been a little bit better than having to be stuck there at the end. But there were openings. They were in the lead in terms of kills towards the end. But in a game as fragile as Rainmaker, it's really that last kill that counts most of the time, and who you leave uh, dead at the end. And so that's going to take us back to zones, one of our most exciting maps that we've had so far today, map modes. And this one's also going to be a lot more interesting. Here you have kind of the direct. It's weird. I like to think of it like direct long range battling because you have the two high grounds that intersect in the middle. I think it's a hilarious map concept. And so we're going to see both teams have opted into the longer range as we've seen today. For those who haven't seen our Crab and Go team play in the past, they are a team that have the long range utility in ICO. However, they often try to go a little bit more mid-long range with the Nautilus. So we've seen a lot of that opting towards the long range. We're going to see kind of what happens here. I think the Nautilus can get a lot of value on this map, but ultimately we have seen that the sniper is getting a crazy amount of kills. So going to be interested to see how Crab and Go decides to go here because they are now on they are facing match point as Creamed Corn is about to take the win potentially, which would put Crab and Go outside of playoff contention, making it requiring some extremely, extremely suspenseful consequences for them to have to get into playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of clearing the high grounds because if you as you noted if you set up those high grounds are basically just looking at each other. So as long as one team can kind of control that space up there, it's going to be very simple to shut out the game from there.
And
Double roller makes a return as well. Sorry.
it does. And you know what? I personally like Cream Corn's approach here more. I like the idea of having there we go, that Dynamo roller alongside the X Splosh. I think that just takes so much presence and allows you to have better control of the high grounds. I think that might be the winning strategy. Right now, we do see there is a lead for Crab and Go, but that is how the last zones map started. We can see a lot of pressure now being applied onto that left high ground because we know that if Crab and Go lets it go for a little bit, that can very quickly go back into the possession of Cream Corn and just creates a destabilizing presence. Nito over on the bottom, back on that blaster, takes out a stamp, doesn't stay on the field for too long. Choco Loco trying to maybe flip the script there. Instead, it's going to be a bomb coming in from S.
Yeah, as we can see Crab and Go trying to push back. Yes, they're making a return here on that zone, bringing out all their specials, just saying, all right, the firepower is here. We're here to make our stand on this point, and they've kind of taken control of.
Nito behind.
Oh, taken a trade at the very least, but they've taken control of the high ground on the right and the buckets looking at the left side. They're really making sure that but that bubble is going to be a bit of an annoyance there as they try and keep control. But Cream Corn is making a comeback here.
Yeah, it was good special usage for Crab and Go to get the point, but now the alt bank has been broken, and instead it was the retake that was now available through the alt economy for Creamed Corn. And they're now taking this height here. They're wanting to move forward a little bit. Let's see if they can kind of make that sustainable and allow that to happen. And you can see all of that high ground is just purple currently. It's going to be a bit hard to hopefully take it back for Crab and Go. There are some specials. All of those strikes are able to come out. Choco is taken out, but traded out eventually by the Crab, which is able to find a little bit more as Ronan fighting to stay alive, has a little bit of support fire from Aiko, but it's not going to nearly be enough to take that point back. As we can see, Cream Corn has now taken the lead. S over here on the height trying to find that kill that evades now. Instead, having to move around, but Nito just having that close range advantage and now able to come in from the back, finding the escapee of Ronan as well and throwing the hammer back. Not too much avail. And you can see that penalty has now gone up for Cream Corn. They're going to have to fight through that. But Crab and Go has the same exact type of challenge, not just in the penalty, but also in the points they have to win back.
Ooh, very, very aggressive splashdown play from the Splasher there, as the momentum has been back and forth for this game. Can I say, like, every time I try and speak on someone's like progress, the other team snaps back and takes it immediately. Like, it's going right back. It's the zone is trying to be taken back. Yep, like I'm saying, back from Crab and Go. So both teams really need to get like a solid footing here. It seems like they're at this point just scrambling to take control over that zone. Like literally, like you push around and there's a roller right behind you. Both teams are trying to secure like security here. Crab and Go was close, but that roller, Dynamo roller held down the fort, and now it's looking like Cream Corn is holding down here.
Yeah, that's the longest range snipe you're going to see from a roller. That just happened right there on our screen, ladies and gentlemen. But now we're down underneath, 40 seconds left. H-Chips right there lurking underneath the ledge, having to move around now. Their position has been exposed. Instead, it's going to be 2 kills until the roller is able to go down. But look at that, 5 seconds left. This has to be S trying to find the possession, but no, it's not going to be there. Almost pretty close. Those specials are coming online, but heroics from the roller coming in. However, not quite enough from Crab and Go, as it will be 1-4, Creamed Corn taking the set and taking the win for the day.
A very, I mean, regardless of the overall score, all of those matches were very back and forth. That was a battle between two teams who had their game plan down, and they clashed, and both teams during all of those matches kind of showed off how they were able to push through the other team's strategy, be it through sneaky rollers or an oppressive charger. You know, both teams were fighting and countering and adapting.
Yeah, really interesting to kind of see how they kind of adapted their play styles in terms of the limitations, the outline of their comps. Very good and just very well played from both teams. We saw Crab and Go with phenomenal ult usage there whenever it counted the most. And we also just saw Creamed Corn knowing their composition very well, knowing their individual roles very well, and using that to surmise kind of Crab and Go's game plan there. So really interesting. So we're currently checking and seeing if we will play those last 2 maps out. It is traditional CCA fashion to play out extra maps just as a showing a sign of cordiality. So we'll see if that's going to be what we do today. It seems like it might not be the case. However, as you said, 4-1 is our final score, dude. However, I feel like if you were to write this down on paper the way it actually happened, we'd be looking at kind of something closer to a 4-2 or 4-3, just based on how close it is. Not trying to take away from Cream Corn's 4-1, just in terms of how close those maps were. Definitely Cream Corn having kind of that dog in them at the end of those maps, but otherwise, both teams really making a fight for it. You can tell in their play that they had the grander vision of those playoffs in mind. Dude, just how'd you feel in terms of these teams, maybe even about Creamed Corn now helping their chances going towards the postseason?
I mean, I saw. I think the most interesting adaptation was that Luna Blaster. That Luna Blaster came out and it took names. That was
Mhm.
a very effective adaptation from Cream Corn. To add like a different angle of offense. You know, the AOE. We've all played against the Luna. We know how powerful that weapon can be, and the stamps were really effective at shutting out our grab and go here. But I think as well, like the another thing I'd like to point out, the Explosher. They stuck with that weapon, which I typically I don't. I'm a bit of an Explosher hater, to be frank, but I'm honestly surprised. I might change my mind after that. We saw like some oppression from that weapon. Taking a lot of good space, a lot of good paint. They're very good with their splashdowns. Cream Corn is very good with knowing what they want to do with their specific weapons. I think that might have been what gave them the edge here in this match today.
Yes, of course. And with that said, again, just great job for both the teams. Great job to Creamed Corn taking the edge, as you just said, dude. There, that will bring the teams Creamed Corn now 3-1 in the season. Crab and Go looking at 2-3. With those numbers, it does seem like that is kind of going to be the classification there with Crab and Go now outside of the playoff window. But we do want to congratulate them on a great season and on a great representation of the University of Houston. Really good coming in here. They were second seed into Div 2 and definitely put up a fight against a very stacked, and I mean extremely stacked Div 2 this year. So, they got a couple of wins there and made sure that they didn't go quietly in the standings. And that's always great. And they fought for it. Definitely had a chance going in there. And we're really grateful to have them here at the University of Houston to represent us. But with that said, right, dude, do you have any final thoughts before we close down for the day?
I mean, honestly, I was just happy to see like that was intense competition. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know I was just singing Cream Corn's praises earlier, but both teams here, they were wonderful in bringing good competition for that match. Crab and Go, very scary charger, but also like the plays with I noticed a lot of well placed bombs and teammates working together to pinch off and make very effective 2v1s. Both teams here today have shown that they're talented, they're skilled at what they do, and it was a very wonderful match to watch.
For sure. Well, I enjoyed that thoroughly. And that's going to be what we have for y'all today. Thank you, everyone, for watching and for following Crab and Go and the University of Houston. We do have other teams still playing around throughout the weekend and throughout this competition in the CCA League. But for now, that has been me, Nasu, and my co commentator, Dude. We hope that you guys have a great night and thank you for watching.
Thanks.